Yo. When last did someone record in this room? Because I don't remember the last time I recorded in this room. I don't even remember the last time I did a makeup tutorial. I've done my brows off camera because 1, my brows don't change, and 2, they've grown out, so they're looking kind of janky. They are cousins, they are not sisters, so please do not come at me. And my voice is a little bit croaky, and that's because I'm feeling flu-ish. Yes, I'm hoping it's not the Omarion virus. Okay, so how I ended up finding out that a man who liked me actually happened to have his daughter as a subscriber. This actually happened like I think about a year or 2 ago. I'm not even going to like go through the timelines or anything like that, but I knew this guy for years. So for story's sake, I'm gonna call him. Yo guys, I've got a lot of stories that I haven't told you guys. But anyway, I'm gonna call him Christopher. Right. So how the story basically started is that Christopher and I knew each other for quite a couple of years. And when I say knew each other, maybe let me zoom you guys in a little bit so you can get a little bit of a more up close detailed look. So like I said, Timothy and I, we knew each other for a few years. And when I say knew each other, basically what I mean is he used to follow me on Instagram. So he actually followed me first on Instagram, and then I followed him back. No, I never followed him. I never followed him back. He followed me the whole time, right? Obviously, there was a point in my life where I thought that I preferred older guys, which actually turned out to be a whole lot of hogwash. But I thought that I wanted like an 8-10 year gap, because after everything that I had been through with Drake, I just couldn't see myself dating skew boys, because skew boys are just not my portion. I really don't want to like, they're not my portion. They are genuinely not my portion. This is a Hermosa Floor makeup brush. This is the brush I actually got a couple of weeks ago. I went all the way to Gorgeous Mbali's store in Mainland because I wasn't able to go to the opening, and I felt so bad because I love her products. And this brush is actually amazing. I also kind of use it for concealer, but because I've also got my Hairy Lemo brush, I tend to dabble between the two. So this guy would DM me from time to time, or would comment on my posts. You know, it was a very like organic thing. Like I didn't even pay attention most of the time, because he would DM me and I wouldn't respond. And I don't know at which point it started being message requests, but yeah, there was a point where he would attempt to DM me and I would not respond, because at the time that he actually reached out to me, I was still in a relationship with Drake. So yeah, Drake used to trace my phone, track my phone, like he would hack my phone. So there was no way that I could actually do something really shady, because somehow he literally logged into my iCloud and got access to my Instagram logins. I remember it playing out like that. I'm not even sure if that's how it played out. But okay, sure. So this gent from time to time would reach out to me. He isn't that old, guys, to be really honest with you. That's why I'm gonna call him a gent, because honestly, shame, man. People have kids in their early 30s, their mid 30s, their 40s, whatever. But he had kids, right? So he would reach out to me on Instagram and I wouldn't respond. And I think at some point he also attempted Facebook, and I didn't respond to that because I was hardly ever on Facebook. Then for us to be able to break the silence and for me to actually start talking to him, this is what happened. Initially I first saw him at a funeral. I bumped into him at a funeral and I didn't recognize him. And he was like, hey, do you not remember me? Like, it had been years in. And I was like, I think I do, but I'm not entirely sure. And he was like, go to your message requests and da-da-da-da. And by that time, they were message requests. So I went into message requests, and then I noticed that, oh crap, shame. You know what? He actually has been trying to reach out to me for quite some time. And I didn't reach out back to him because I try not to read my message requests, because my message requests are filled with people asking me for money, asking me for clothes, asking me for hair, asking me for things I myself don't have. So I was like, Where am I supposed to get that one? I don't even have that myself. Can I have your old wigs? Which ones, baby girl? You've seen me wearing 2, 3 only. Also me, I'm praying that, you know, DJ Zintle plugs me as an ambassador for Hair Goddess or whatever, you know? So okay, fine. Anyway, at the funeral, we speak. He tells me, no, man, you know, Naledi, I just wanted to take you out for lunch. And while we were talking, it became very evident that we know a lot of the same people. So like, he also is based, well, he grew up in the East Rand. He's not based in the East Rand right now, but like, he basically grew up more or less same area where I grew up, and he kind of knew a little bit about me because obviously from following me on these platforms for years, but also also just from really liking me and trying to find out how to find me, because he was like, dude, I've been trying to reach out to you for quite some time. And I'm like, okay guys, next step, I'm gonna be using my foundation, the LA Girl Pro Matte, and I'm using this because all my other foundations are kind of sort of finished. If I could have it my way, I would go for the Maybelline, no, this is the Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I would go for my Maybelline, this one, Maybelline 24-hour foundation, in the color caramel. So this one is also caramel. My color here is caramel, but this one is a bit lighter. I went for golden caramel, and I realized that this actually doesn't even sit on my skin as well as I'd like it to. So I just pick caramel all the time. But right now I am loving the LA Girl Pro Matte because this one is a full coverage dolly. To put on my foundation, I'm going to be using this Hermosa Floor kind of flat brush. As you can see, it looks a little bit like this. And because, you know what, I'm just gonna have some wine. Guys, let me just apologize in advance for all the times I say I'm gonna put things in the description box and I don't. I'm sorry. At the funeral, that's basically where I just kind of open up to the idea of talking to him, because at that time, I think I was single. Like, I was single, man. I was single, like I wasn't interested in Drake anymore, like nothing. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit all around. Like, I normally use quite a few pumps because I'm obsessed with having flawless foundation. And today what I'm gonna do is try not to put too much underneath my eyes. There's a lady I was basically talking to on Twitter who was like, hey, one of the reasons could be that you put foundation under your eyes and it does make it crease a little bit, so just leave it to concealer up there. But as you can see, I put in a lot of foundation. Anyway, fine. Me and this guy, after the funeral, we obviously start talking, right? And you can tell he's really ashamed. He's really trying to get my attention. And I wasn't really seeing anyone at the time, so I was just like, okay, cool, ain't no problem, that's fine. So I am kind of like dabbing and kind of like obviously creating more of a flawless look. And I know a lot of you are gonna say, no, why are you swiping it? Because I don't know, it just works for me like this, girl. Bye. But anyway, he asked me out on a date, this guy. And you know what, guys, I'm gonna put the foundation over my eyes because now I've got red eyes, and now my concealer mixing with that is going to give me like a red weird look. So I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for that tip that you guys gave me on Twitter, but I'm just gonna really have to do it over my eyes because I know my concealer won't win this battle. We go on a date, guys, and the date is fairly okay. Like, I ask him questions that I would ask any man on a date, and I obviously try to suss him out. And from sussing him out, he does mention that he's got a child. No, he mentions that he's got 2. He mentions that he's got 2 kids, He asked me what I do, and I explained to him that no, actually, I used to work with my dad, but he fired me, and now I do this thing where it's on social media and stuff. So a lot of guys that have went out on dates with me will ask me, okay, so what do you do for a living? And you're like, oh no, I'm actually a social media content creator. And they're like, oh, what's that? You know? So now you have to explain to them one by one, why, man, it means when you are doing this. So I explained it to him, and he doesn't seem bothered. Like, he doesn't really mind, and he seems pretty okay, right? So in my mind, I'm like, oh, thank God, not another guy who's now asking me, hi, what is this? Why do you do it like this? What's going on here? What not? After that, they were very like informal meetings. It wasn't anything like date nights or anything like that, but he would just check up on me a lot. He would reach out to me a lot. But I knew that deep down in my spirit, I wasn't feeling him, because he was like a typical Zulu gent, and after some time he started showing the traits of being a little bit controlling, like being upset that I went out and I didn't say anything to him, and so forth and so forth and so forth. I know these lights are hot. I'm already sweating and I haven't even put on concealer. Sharp, guys, ne? So I started seeing the red flags when it came to when I would say like I'm going out, and he'd be like, you could tell man he's uncomfortable, but he doesn't know how to tell me that he's uncomfortable, because I was obviously going to tell him to get off, right? Okay, so this is where things started getting tricky. So I started kind of losing the whole attraction towards him, and I wasn't really feeling it anymore, because I was just like, you know what, I just got out of another controlling relationship. The last thing I need is to be involved in another one. And yeah, for various reasons, I also noticed a little bit of red flags, man. Like that, like when he got home, he wouldn't really speak to me. He definitely lives with someone, because he never said to me that he was married. Okay guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to contour. So I prefer contouring with a foundation, because I don't like a really heavy contour. I build my contour and I build it through blush and bronzer. So the base of my contour, I prefer it to be a foundation. I know that my friends, a lot of them, well, not my friends, but like everyone who I watch on YouTube when it comes to makeup, they tend to use they tend to use concealer. But like I said, I like to use foundation, because this one is a lot wet, meaning I can actually blend it out easily. And I prefer this one because it's not too dark in color, and it just creates a very flawless cheekbone. So like you can see, you can't see anything of mine right now, right? Because I look like sack of shit, obviously. Now doomsday is now finally arriving. This guy, like I remember the one time I went out with my friends and he was asking me like, oh, so what are your plans for this evening? He was hanging out somewhere, so he invited me, extended an invite, and I was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take this foundation it's a liquid foundation in the color Toast, and I'm basically just gonna apply it to my cheekbones. What I do is I normally take a brush, because I hate getting makeup on my fingers. Yes guys, I know this brush is dirty. It consists of this foundation. I really do need to wash my brushes, but I don't need the negativity. So what I do is I normally just like swipe it up, this side and this side. And because it is like a wet foundation, I love that it's wet, because it's gonna be easily blendable, right? So I'm just gonna take this up just a little bit, so that I can just obviously do it here at the top as well. And you see, like you can barely see it, but you see it because of the lights. But if I were doing this during the day, you would not see it at all. So one event, he's like to me, where are you going today? I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to the north, hang out with my friends. And he's like, yeah, Mara, when are you go to the north a lot? I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, you know, when I date someone, I don't want someone who's always out and about every weekend. So I'm like, bring that over. First of all, we are not dating. Please do not get them mixed up. Please do not for a second think that, and please don't go around telling people that. So I'm like, no. First of all, this was pre-planned, and second of all, we're not together. So I don't understand why you're raising up those things out when you date people. And he's like, oh, okay, I thought that we were trying something new, waba. And I'm like, no, we aren't. We're trying nothing new. Like, no. And then he was the one person who actually never vetted me. So he never Googled me. He never tried to get background information on me. So I can understand why this definitely caught him off guard. But it really kind of irritated me. So we have a little bit of a disagreement. I wouldn't even call it a disagreement. I would call it like a type of thing. Like, don't get too familiar, and last but not least, do not get too familiar. Hi, okay. So eventually he sees that actually I don't rate him at all, because I think he had money, so he's used to a lot of girls rating him. So when he says jump, everyone says how high. So now to me, he said jump, and I was like, what the fuck for? Sorry, why are we jumping again? And that was probably because I didn't know anything about him either. Not that I really wanted to, I didn't care. Okay guys, no problem. Yo, this room is hot. I'm even sweating. I'm sweating through my foundation. How is it possible? Okay guys, now that we've established Uguti, we're not to get off, right? One day, this is where like things start getting really like weird, right? So I started ignoring him because one, I felt like he was invading my space too much. Two, I felt like he was getting too comfortable. And three, I didn't like him, so it was kind of irritating a little bit. You know, if there's one thing I hate about men, I hate men who are like, can I come visit you? Why? Hi. I feel like, guys, never make a man get used to visiting you. He has no business being in your private space. If that man wants to be with you, then he's gonna take you as his partner. But not personally, I believe that men should have no business frolicking at a woman's house, because if he's too comfortable frolicking at your house, he's then going to believe he's the man of this house. He's then going to start rocking up at awkward hours, and then that's essentially where it's gonna boil to. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm already hating this makeup look, I just want to say. So this is where I told him to get off. He rocked up at my house random. On a random Tuesday morning. I will never forget. He rocks up at my house. Okay, so I'm chilling. I hear troop. And I'm like, okay. So what I normally like to do is when someone comes to my house unannounced, unless you are delivering a parcel for me like a PR package, you have no business coming to my house unannounced. Unless you're my man's or my sister or my family, even my family members, some of them, you have no business coming to my house unannounced, okay? I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. So he rocks up on Tuesday morning, just all willy-nilly, like he rocked a troop. So I'm like, because I'm not expecting anybody, it's early in the morning. How? Now I go to my bathroom because my bathroom has direct view of the gate. Go to my bathroom. As I'm about to hover there, my phone rings. And I give him a past 8, go to 9. These are the times when people go to work, bro. Like, why you not at work, bro? You out here disturbing people that don't want to talk to you. And at that time, they're so bizarre. Then he calls my phone. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, and I'm like, yes. And he's like, yeah, I'm here by the gate. Can you open for me? I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like to me, no, I just have something for you. I have a surprise for you. So if it's money, then it's fine. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe he bought flowers or whatever. It's still kind of irritating as fuck though. Like, it would have been better if you just brought it with nail flowers, because this is not your house. So okay, fine. I let him in because now I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's just dropping off something for me and whatever. He comes out the car empty-handed. So I step out. I'm in my PJ shorts and my top because I work from home. He steps out of the car, guys. He steps out of the car. And he's empty-handed. That's my first problem. You are empty-handed. Go and listen, baby. Empty-handed. No, but not like I actually wanted anything from him now. Let's be mindful of that. It's not like I really wanted anything from him. But he rocks up empty-handed, Bafetu. And when he rocks up empty-handed like that, I'm like, okay, so why are you here? And he's like, no, I came to give you a hug. I'm like, no! What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, no, you're too old for this. You know, when you actually don't like someone, everything that they do when they try to be sweet is actually irritating as fuck. Because if it was a man that I liked, it wouldn't have been that irritating. I'm being dead ass right now. Nothing about what he was doing was cute or sexy or even remotely like inkazi. It actually just irritated the crap out of me. So he hugs me and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Is that all? Yeah, because now I'm irritated. And he's like, yeah, no, I was thinking we could chill. Yo! I was like, ungazongijayela masimba. Yo, ungazongijayela ikaka undichela ikaka manje. At whose house? At whose house? I was like to him, how would you feel if I rocked up at your house, Hussein, unannounced, to tell you I came to chill with you? He's like, how? no, I'm like, I've never even been to your house. There's never been a suggestion where you've asked me to come to your place, which for a reason would make sense. I don't know who you live with. You don't answer your phone after like 8 p.m. and you think you've got a nerve to come here at my house and rock up at my gates and want to hang out with me in my private presence. So he's like, no, and I'm like, don't you ever get it twisted, okay? I am not your girlfriend. And if I have to explain this to you again, this will be the last interaction you and I actually have. You understand what I'm saying? So I asked him to leave, and now he's like confused because he's like, why don't you want me to come into your house? Do you live with a man? I'm like, so eventually I tell him, no, go into the house, go have a look. Because initially I think he thought that I was kidding. He thought that I was just like, banter. I don't know what it is with Zulu men and thinking that when you're serious, it's actually banter for them, because I wasn't laughing with him and he was laughing with me. He saw absolutely nothing wrong with what he was saying. So then fine, I urge him to go inside. Like, I'm like, okay, go inside and go look. If that's the case. And if you don't find a man, block me back. He's like, I wouldn't do it. So I open up the door. Well, the garage is open, and I make him walk inside. He walks inside, and then after that, he walks straight to my couch and he sits down. He's like, how being I just wanted to obviously get in because now we were standing outside and your neighbors were. So I'm like, Tim, can you please? Okay, now that you've gotten in, can you please leave? He's like, how? Naledi. I'm like, yes, get out. He's like, are you being serious right now? I'm like, yes, I am. So then hi man, what's happening? It's not blending the way I expected to, or maybe because this room is just so hot and I just seemingly can't stop sweating, because I am sweating my ass off at this point. Like, there is nothing that is saving me from the sweat. He leaves and we don't speak for about like a week. No, I think we don't speak for about a month. Yeah, like we don't speak. Like, I just cut him off, he cuts me off. Not that he really cut me off, because I cut him off and there was no way he could get access to me. He tried calling me the private number, I cut him off. Like, every time he found his way to me, I just would hang up the phone. Yo guys, did I tell you guys that my other ex actually also trespassed my house? Oh my god, guys. Yo, these men and trespassing my home. It'll never not shock me. Like, it'll never not shock me. It shocks me every day. Next thing I'm gonna do is... My mom is calling me. Next thing I'm gonna do is set this under eye, because that's where I experience a whole lot of creasing. And a lot of my friends recommended that if I want to avoid the crease under my eyes, what I should probably do is sit with a brush and not a what's this? No, the beauty blender. Because I used to sit with a beauty blender, right? So I don't like the idea of obviously sitting with a beauty blender, because they said that's actually what could potentially be causing the creasing under my eyes. So then guys, we didn't speak for a month. I didn't hear from him for a month. That was fine, no problem. A month later, we meet up at this spot where it's a spot where people just go and groove, and I don't want to get too specific because you know what, nah. And then he sees me again, and now this time, not even, I think it was a few months, because he was just congratulating me on a lot of things. He was like, he saw me making boss moves, he saw me on TV type of thing, and he just wanted to say that he's really proud of me. He tells me, no, he's proud of me, what, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thank you. So he asked me like, hey, he understands like why I was so upset the last time, and he was wondering if we could try again, So I just said no to him the whole time. I was like, no, if we try again, we're definitely just gonna be like mates. Like, and besides, I was already kicking on with another guy by that time, because you know, Mina, you don't cry for too long. You cry and then you go find another man. No, I'm kidding. I'm a very monogamous person. I believe in monogamy. I know that it's a very childish thing. Well, it's not childish to me, but I know that a lot of people they always ask me why I always pick the broke niggas over the niggas with money. At least they'll give me stress about they give me money. And I have no answer for you there, hey? I probably should be picking them, but I don't know, man. I think I've had enough experience to date someone with money to know that they're not nice people. People with money are not nice people. They're very problematic, they're very controlling, and a lot of it has to do with like a control complex, and I'm not interested. Okay, so I'm gonna take, this is actually like a bronzer. Yeah, it's a bronzing powder that I got from the Body Shop years ago, but because it's too light for my skin, I actually use it as like a transition shade on my eyes. One day, we meet, but this time it's like we meet for coffee. Like he actually asked me out for coffee, and I say yes, because he was like, ah man, I just wanted us to clear the air. Like I obviously know that we'll never get back together, but we should be at least be able to have coffee as grown-ups, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, cool. Like obviously on the other side, the things that I was doing, they weren't working out. So it's okay. I guess I can have coffee. Hopefully he's changed. And then he came with the impression that he changed, right? We meet for coffee, guys. We sit down, ne? And as we sit, he's like to me, Naledi, can I ote uyenzani for a living? Yeah? And you can see that he's asking me questions. And man, I want to ask myself, why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this? Because I've told you what I do before. He's like, no, I won't jail. Like, lento le uyenzelaphi, yabo. So I'm like, no, ndidlala uyi-chips, you know, like I'm a content creator. And he's like, okay, but like where does the content go? I'm like, no, it goes on YouTube. So now he's like, okay, I hope you don't mind me asking this, right? And I'm like, okay, what? And he's like, are you by any chance, no, he didn't say are you by any chance. He's like, he asked me, is it on YouTube? Because he's like, that thing that you do, social media influencer, what, is it on YouTube? I'm like, yeah, it is. And then he's the one guy I actually never told, because I didn't actually ever think this would happen to me. So now he starts laughing and he giggles, guys, for about 5 minutes. So now, initially I laughed and I was like, oh, why? Then after that I was like, hey, stop laughing, it's now, what's going on? And he's like to me, no, dude, one day I thought I heard you in my house. I was terrified. I was so terrified. I walked in and I heard your voice. I'm like, you heard my what? He's like, I heard your voice. I thought you were in my house. And my wife got my what? Say that again. Say that part again. My what? Hey? Okay. So I don't know, because I'm like, so you have a wife? And he's like, yeah, and then he's saying it so innocently. He's like, yeah, I'm like, no sir, you never told me this. And he's like, so he's like, basically to me, I got so scared because I heard your voice in the dining room. So I'm thinking you're in my house, you're about to basically tell on me what I'm doing with you or whatever. When I walk in, my daughter is watching and you're on the screen. I'm like, so now we start laughing because now we just didn't disbelieve the both of us. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't disbelieve the both of us. We're just like, yeah. And he's like, I swear to God. But I think that was kind of like more or less the last time I saw him, because we had a very serious chat and I was like, you know what, bro? First and foremost, you know, that other thing that you thought I wasn't gonna ever find out. He did apologize though for obviously not having told me, but he was just like, bro, I just had to sit down and like take it in. Like I even wanted to drive out and reverse the car, but then I thought that obviously I'm already in trouble, I might as well take it like a man. But guys, yes, that's essentially what happened, and that is actually how I found out that someone that I almost dated was the parent of one of my subscribers. You see, guys, it's not hitting as much as it used to. It's not banging. It's not banging anymore. It's not banging. Nothing is looking good here. Everything is just looking, it's looking like pure chanda at this point. Like, it's looking like pure chanda. I'm gonna use this color. Oh my god, guys, I do the same makeup look. It's getting kind of ghetto. It's really getting kind of ghetto. Oh my god, I made my best friends. Most of my best friends are as a result of becoming friends with people I met through my exes. Like, I've done woman to women's. Like, the one woman to woman I did with one of my friends, we're now best friends. Yeah. No, like, we've been best friends for years. I just hate the fact that I never see her now because she's got a boyfriend. Actually, let me tell you guys that story of how Jerome, I became best friends with Jerome's ex. Like, we're still best friends. It's the craziest thing. I never told you guys a story where I became one of my best friends is someone that Jerome and I both, no, it's someone that dated both Jerome. Yeah, one of my best friends is Jerome's ex, but she's like my best friend. Yay. So that story, let me tell that story because I don't want to make my story times too long anymore, because I know you guys get bored really quickly. But anyway, what had happened was, now this girl, for story's sake, I'm gonna call her I'm gonna call her Love. So when I had just met Jerome, I knew that Jerome dated this girl called Love, right? No, let me not call her Love, it's too close to home. Bestie. No. Yeah, I'm gonna call her Bestie because she's one of my besties, right? So when Jerome and I started dating, I knew that his ex was Bestie, right? Remember the story time when I told you that I was the last one to find out that he got someone pregnant? Concurrently alongside that story, what my understanding was that Bestie was his ex-girlfriend, right? And Bestie and him broke up before I came into the picture. Yes, that's what he said to me. Obviously, that's not how it played out because we eventually found out that we were both concurrently dating him. But essentially what happened was he had this friend called Bestie. Well, he had this ex-girlfriend called Bestie. And her and I obviously didn't get along for obvious reasons. We both loved him, and like he was both making us believe that the other one is the other one's nemesis, is the opposition. So fine, whilst me and Jerome are dating, Bestie finds out. But Bestie, because Bestie also loved Jerome was able to basically like finesse the both of us throughout that period in time. And when I say finessed, I'm saying he finessed us like to fucking beg. Okay, so let me tell you what got to the point where I started realizing that actually Jerome is the liar here. Jerome, when I first met him, when I started dating him, I was 16, 17. No, yeah, no, I'm lying. I was dating Thingy at that time, my high school boyfriend. I was 19 when I started dating Jerome. And one of the things that Jerome and I would do is go out a lot because him and I were the same age. So he would take me to all these cool places because like I was really not popular and I didn't really know where all the cool spots were. And Jerome knew because his school was like in Bram, right? So that's really where it was happening, like Puma Social Club, things like that. That's fine. He told me about Bestie. He told me about Love. And I understood that him and Love shared something special, but it's over now. I'm in the picture now. I'm in the picture. Okay, so Love, you're gonna have to take a step back and allow me and Jerome to be happy together without you butting in. Fine. Okay, time for eyelashes. Let me put them on camera. Let me put them off camera and then I'll finish up the look. I hate my whole makeup look. Like, I hate it. Genuinely in my life. I just want to tell you guys right now with my chest. I genuinely hate every minute of what I'm looking at right now. Because, ooh, okay, let me try and finish it up and hope that whatever I'm doing just turns out. I already know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna take this Palladio bronzer. It's like a cream bronzer and it's in the color Nude Beach. I've had it for a while now and this is the color I always go for. I feel like It is the one that brings a lot of warmth to my face. And if I do use like a foundation contour, so like a liquid contour, then I don't like to contour quite a lot. I use very little of this, because then I'm just gonna like really build on it with like blushes and stuff. I don't really contour much, actually. I don't really contour much. I more so bronze and warm up the face, but I rarely ever contour. I contour my nose, but not my face, because I really like what bronzers do to the face without having to go through the route of contouring. Because contouring, it's very hard to find a shade that works for your skin unless you really know like what your skin tone is, whether you should go for warm shades that have like maroon tones or yellow tones or hey, so anybody who wants to know where these lashes are from, I got these lashes from Hermoso Flow Cosmetics. I really don't remember what the style was because I bought them all on one day and I just literally picked everything off the shelf. So they all have different styles, but this one is quite my favorite one because it's the one that's not as dramatic, but it does have a lot of volume and it does have a lot of whatchamacall. It's got a lot of body, man. It's got body. Bestie and him did break up, so she did confirm that. But for me to find out that they were actually still kind of kicking it and together, what had happened was her and I think we actually admitted to each other that I would stalk Bestie all the time because I knew that he had a very, very close relationship with Bestie. And even till this day, I can safely say that their bond is really, it's Jerome's bond with Bestie is a bond I didn't share with Jerome. To put that bluntly is to say that she understood him a whole lot better than I did. Do you understand what I'm saying? So not from a point of jealousy, she just genuinely understood him at the time a lot better, and they had a lot more what's the word that I'm looking for here? They shared a whole lot more in common than I did with Jerome. Jerome and I, we were like getting to know each other, but like with her and Jerome, they had a lot of memories because they were dating for about a long time before I came into the picture. So he had a relationship with her that I had no business being jealous of because I understood what they shared. So you understand what I mean? Not to say I wasn't jealous, I was, but I just didn't have any reason to be. So now I'm gonna use my favorite blush, and I'm actually really upset that NYX is no longer here. It's my blush, it's my NYX blush in the color Copper. I need to really get a dupe for this. If anybody knows a dupe for the NYX in Copper, definitely let me know, because this is, you remember when I did my last tutorial, this is what brought my makeup to life, so you know. So for me to find out that her and Jerome are still dating, this is what happened, right? So we once went out to a place in Brum called Stones. Jerome would take me to these places because I had never been with anybody except him. And then that particular night, things got stressful because that's when I actually met Bestie in person, and things got tense because Bestie was upset with Jerome, and I was like, why is Bestie upset with Jerome if you guys are no longer dating? What's going on? What's cooking oil? So that night could have almost resulted in my first fight with my actual best friend, but actually luckily it didn't happen. Like everybody kind of diffused the situation because then it was like kind of obvious that Jerome was playing Bestie and I, right? So I don't know if Jerome ended up picking me or what had happened, but we continued dating, but he still continued keeping contact with her. So for me to be able to find out that he was still cheating with Bestie, I went one day to go visit Jerome at his mom's house, right? Because I get he lives with his mom. Guys, don't say he lives with his mom, guys, we were 19, come on. Next thing I'm gonna do is take my Hermoso Flow brush, this feathered brush, and I'm gonna apply two types of blush. Now I'm gonna apply this nude blush that I got from MAC quite a couple of years ago, and the color is, I can't see because it's looking so janky that I genuinely can't see. Copper tone. And then I'm gonna go in with this blush that I got from Accessorize years ago in the color Pretty Pink. I don't even think they sell this brand anymore, so you're just better off going to go get a dupe, and I'll tell you why I use this after I use this blush, because I actually use 3 different blushes. I don't even use that much bronzers anymore or like contours. No, I prefer the blush on black women, unmatched. One day, hi guys, I decided to go visit Jerome at his house, you see, because that's normally where we would go. We would chill together, we would, you know, drink, we would, you know, right. So I don't know what he was doing, but like I had access to his phone. I had access to his phone actually. I remember, like, even in our relationship, I didn't really search it, but I did have access to it. I don't know what I was looking for on his phone. And then he went to the bathroom, but he had left his phone in my car because we were sitting in my car. So it was like a typical checkering session, checkering vibes, you know. Checker most of the time because he wasn't allowed to come to my house. While he goes to the bathroom, I can tell, man, someone's texting him, but I can't see what's going on. So I go into his chats. What I find there. That day, I was surprised I didn't kill Jerome. I wanted to though, but I thought I didn't want to go to jail. I'm gonna take the same brush, and I'm gonna dip it into the pretty pink. Now this one has got a little bit of a shimmer, and you'll see why I like this because it acts as both a blush and a highlight. Let me just do this before. See that? See that? And it's actually a blush. That's what I say, guys. Don't touch blushes. You know I'm shining. Know what I'm shining. It's a pretty dusty pink blush, but it comes off as like a highlighter, but it still adds warmth, glow. So fine. I go through his phone. I noticed that he's still talking to Bestie, but now, Babuaka, the love they have for each other. And I'm like, wait, whoa, what's going on here? What's happening here? So he comes back to the car eventually. I take screenshots, I send them to my phone. Obviously, delete them off his phone. Then after that, he comes back to the car. Now he's chilling. So I obviously ask him, what the hell is this? We get into a really big fight. And that day, while we were there at his house, so I asked him what's going on. Okay, let me put on my highlighter. So now we're fighting in the car. Now we're fighting in the car at his house. His mom was not there. His mom's at work because we were in varsity so that we could ditch class and stuff like that. His mom was at work. We started getting into a fight, and because I had taken her number, I decided to call her. I call her right then and there. Because we had a fight, and then he went inside the house because obviously I think he was afraid of like what was I gonna do to him and stuff, because I thought that he was saying I love you, I miss you, I want to be with you. I'm like, according to who, bro? Hi, okay, I'm gonna take this powder and take it underneath my eyes because I just want that kind of like, you know, extra, you know, whatever. And I think I might just take a little bit of this glow up and just maybe add it a little bit onto the crease of my eyes, because everything is looking very plain if you ask me. I mean, get Christmas, the least I can do, you know, go add something. I call her in the car while he is locked himself in the house because he now doesn't want to face me. And he's telling Love, look at Love. Yeah, he's telling Bestie, don't believe what this girl is telling you, or she's lying, So I call her in the car. I call Bestie in the car and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey. I'm like, hey, you're speaking to Naledi. And like she freezes and I freeze because now we both just like, you know, I'm the one who actually reached out to her. And so I asked him like, hey, listen, I'm calling you because I'm starting to realize that something is very fishy, and I just wanted to know, are you still with Jerome, dude? Like, what's going on between you guys? Because I saw the messages between you guys and like now we're still dating and what. Now Bestie has a very small heart, like so she's very emotional. I think that's actually what makes us really good friends, is that we're completely opposite. So I'm a very strong character. It takes a lot to make me cry. Well, I think the older I've become, the more I'm closer to menopause and the more I'm closer to crying. But back then in those times, it took a lot to make me cry. Not even my mom's passing made me cry. Like I was just crying alone, but I would never just wake up and cry. I talked to her on the phone and she starts kind of, you know, tearing up. Like I can hear the change in her voice. So immediately I say to her, hey, listen, can I come and meet up with you and have a chat with you face to face? Because I think there's a lot of things that you and I need to talk about. And at first she was hesitant about it, rightfully so, because you're about to meet up with this girl, you don't know who she is, you don't know what her intention is, you don't know if I'm going to punch her, like, you know, she doesn't know what to expect by meeting up with me, and rightfully so. That's just kind of scary. So I'm like to her, no, listen, I really want to meet up with you, I really want to talk to you, because I feel like this guy's taking us for a ride. but also you are more than welcome to have someone there with you, because I have no intention of trying to, like, you know, ambush you, beat you up, anything like that. And well, then she agreed, you know, she agreed. Her friends on her side were very hesitant. They were like, dude, are you sure about what you're doing right now? And my friends are also like, dude, are you sure? That day when I went to go meet her, I went with one of my friends, and then when I went to her apartment, because she lived in Bram as well. Thank goodness I'm almost done with this book, because I was like taking forever to get to this point. So I went to go meet up with her at her apartment, and I remember I went with one of my friends. For story's sake, I'm gonna call her Flower. I went to Flower, and then she had her two friends there at the apartment, because obviously I think her friends are also worried about her safety the same way Flower was worried about mine. Like, I guys, don't end up getting into a wreck. So we all came. There was 5 of us that day. I won't forget. We came to her place, and basically I sat down. She came in, she welcomed me, she was very sweet. I mean, we are best friends now, so I guess, you know. It's crazy how actually I've made some of my friends, and these are my rides or dies. Like, I'm not talking shit. Okay, I didn't lay my frontal because, first and foremost, to be really honest with you guys, I just didn't feel like it. Okay, like I just didn't feel like it. I knew I owed you guys at least one makeup tutorial, so the same thing. Nothing's fun change. Nothing. We meet up in South Point and her apartment. She actually makes me this really delicious chicken sandwich that she made with like mayo and barbecue sauce from Steers. You know what? Res life kids actually live their best lives, because I don't remember ever eating that nice when I was living in Res. Like, she was eating good, right? No, like, she was chopping and money. Like, she was living nice. My best friend, the one that I came with, me and Flower, we got booze, because we knew, right, this time it's going to shake a bit. This is my go-to nude look that everyone always asks me without fail, and like, I always say the same thing. It's literally a brown lipstick, and it's a brown liquid lipstick. I don't use liner. I haven't used liner in a hot minute, actually. I don't remember even the last time I used liner, period. Who still uses liner? The next thing I go in with is this L'Oreal Ultra Matte liquid lipstick in the color Sweet Tooth. Nothing has been better than this. Nothing, literally. We start telling each other the truth about the things that he's been doing. We start comparing notes. Now we realize that, oh shit, he's actually been playing the both of us. He's been saying Naledi's acting like crazy, she won't let me go. He's been saying that about her to me, and it started off with fuck this nigga, and then it became like a sad crying session, because we both kind of loved him, right? We really loved him. Like, we loved him in different ways and for different reasons. Like, I met him at a point where I was really like self-discovery. Like, I had broken up with my high school love. It wasn't working out. I was growing old. I was outgrowing that love from high school to varsity. And her and him shared more like a like love and basketball best friend thing. I'll always love you. Like, you'll always have a space in my heart type of thing, like, irrespective of what happens and what plays out between us. So we loved him for different reasons completely, but I think it was just, you know, that thing. So then we backed at him then, and guess what? After that, he went and dated his friend at school. Actually, all his exes are from his school. I'm then gonna obviously go in last with my NYX lip lingerie in the color Lip Light number 7, and that's just to put on top. So that's pretty much what happened, guys. That's pretty much what happened between me and what's her name? That's pretty much what happened between me, Jerome, and Bestie. That's how she actually became friends, because we spent a lot of time together, obviously helping each other heal from the process. But in doing that, we became friends. And also, I think throughout that process, because my friends were telling me to get over him and whatever the case may be, but they didn't really understand what I was going through, and she understood a lot better than anybody. Like, we would talk about it, we literally got it out of our systems. But then one thing we realized is that we were actually building a friendship, so we actually ended up being friends, and that's what happened. So yeah, that's my makeup tutorial. That's how we found out that Jerome was playing us both, and that's how we became best friends. And we have been best friends for about 6-7 years now. In case you thought that she was gonna play me, no she didn't. I've met her family, she's met mine. Like, we're good friends. So that's what happened, really. So yes guys, that is the finished look. That is my go-to foundation routine for the summertime, because it does get a little bit hot and I am someone who perspires a lot, so it's very, very important to have a solid foundation routine so that your makeup can obviously survive throughout the nighttime. I do think that this is bound to change at some point or the other, but I do like it like this, very light, very to the point. And you guys know I am a fan of nude. Please comment down below and let me know what kind of other makeup tutorials you'd like to see me do. Like if you'd like to see me do color, let me know if you like the fact that I integrate a few story times into like my makeup tutorials, because they do tend to be a little bit long. But until then, we have reached the end of the video. I love you guys so much. We are still in Vlogmas spirit, so I do hope that I'm gonna give you guys a lot of videos between now and the end of December. But that is it for me. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video.